I don't love you as if you were a rose of salt, topaz, or arrow of carnations that propagate fire. I love you as one loves certain obscure things, secretly between the shadow and the soul. I love you as the plant that doesn't bloom but carries the light of those flowers hidden within itself. And thanks to your love, the right aroma that arose from the earth lives dimly in my body. I love you without knowing how or when or from where. I love you directly, without problems or pride. I love you like this because I don't know any other way to love, except in this form in which I am not nor are you, so close that your hand upon my chest is mine, so close that your eyes close with my dreams. Hello, welcome back. It's lovely to see you twice a week now. You're welcome. I hope you've been keeping well. Hozier has treated us yet again with another release from his upcoming album, and this time it is a groove-heavy dark pop banger. De Selby is a reprise of common themes that have become hallmarks of Hozier's work, not only extending our knowledge on this album, but of his whole career to date, and I am so excited to get stuck into it with you. I guess first let's talk about the title. What the hell does De Selby mean? De Selby is a character created by Irish novelist, playwright, satirist Flann O'Brien, and he is somewhat of a mad scientist and philosopher that features in his novel The Third Policeman and later in the Dalkey Archive. His beliefs are very paradoxical. They defy both religion and science. He believes that the human experience is a succession of static experiences, each infinitely brief, and that the night is caused by an accumulation of black air. Some of his wild experiments include diluting water or trying to dilute water, and in the Dalkey Archive he tries to end the world by sucking all the oxygen out of the air. Now, what I would like to propose is that De Selby isn't necessarily a character in this song. He doesn't play into the narrative, but he is representative in the title of the idea of this world around us crumbling, falling into absurdity and just disappearing. And I think this can be sort of compared to Dante's journey, like in the very beginning of Inferno, when he enters the first circle and his whole perception of what the natural world is completely subverted. What he sees defies physics. He sees the physical embodiments of people that are already dead, which is something that also actually happens in The Third Policeman. Both Dante's depiction of hell and the sort of dimension that Flann O'Brien creates, they're both these infinite spaces where the same actions will happen on and on for eternity. It's going to be a little hard to get a full picture of this song without having part one released, but Hozier did give a little insight when he debuted it live. This song comes from the perspective of watching any evidence of a world around you slowly disappearing and the freedom that gives you to look inwardly at a new kind of infinite. And this is something that both Dante, the character, and the narrator in The Third Policeman sort of experience in one way or another. Now, this is all within the context of falling in love with someone. This is sort of a device, this dual story has been a device that Hozier has used for a long time, and I'm pretty sure I can talk for all of us when I say it's something we all love and cherish. This surrender to the dark is a common theme, whether that be surrendering to this sort of end of the world or also the darkness within someone's heart that makes that love just deeper. When explaining this song live, Hozier actually quoted a line from the poem that I read at the beginning, so that's going to be important to keep in mind as we head into these first lines. What you're given, what you're living, darling, it finds a way to live in you. And your heart, love, has such darkness, I feel it in the corners of the room. So the first two lines actually do relate quite a lot to The Third Policeman and the version of the atomic theory that's presented in that novel. As particles are always moving, some will depart from their original mass and interact with other particles. So the theory is that over time, if you spend enough time with an object or a being, you will take on a certain percentage of those particles. So the example used in the book is a man who rides a bike a lot will inevitably become a small percentage bike. So you'll find that a man will start acting the way a bike may do, like he may need to lean on something when he's standing still. So when Hozier sings, "What you live in finds a way to live in you," he's talking about your history, your experiences, the people you surround yourself with, that all inevitably becomes part of your DNA. Now, the line he quoted from Neruda's Sonnet 17 is, "Your hand on my chest is mine." And we know that love is a witness. And in this song, he's not only witnessing the dark within this person, but seeing it reflected in himself. And it's as if these two souls are coming together like a Venn diagram, merging into each other and really blurring these lines of individuality. Neruda's sonnet also really acknowledges that darkness too, and that's something that Andrew likes to do a lot, and we really appreciate, or at least I do, just representing women as real people with complexities, and not just seeing the darkness as a flaw, but rather just a symptom of being. If I was any closer after the gloom, if I could only lose me, I want to lose me. If I fade away, let me fade away. I want to fade away with you. If I was any closer, if I was any closer, if I could only lose me, I could be lost. If I fade away, let me fade away. No more than I was or than I want to be when you fall on me like night, every time. And I want to be so far from sight and mind, I want to kill the lights. This is very much speaking to me, that urge to relinquish control, just give in to the dark, and not in a depressive way, but in just a way that acknowledges reality. As a society, whether you are religious or not, this pursuit of light is really drilled into us, and it's almost a naive and foolish pursuit, because that darkness is always going to be there. It's not going to go away. We're never going to live in a utopia, especially not now. So why not give in to that darkness a little bit? Obviously within reason. I want to be so far from sight and mind is a line that really speaks to me. My brain exhausts me to the point where sometimes I just can't function. And I would really like to, as Hozier sings, kill the lights sometimes. There seems to be a real theme throughout Hozier's work of that real desire for catharsis, whether that be fading into the darkness or sinking down into the cool earth. Just again, it's that release of control or release of the shackles that society hold on us. I want to run against the world that's turning. I'd move so fast I'd outpace the dawn. I want to be gone. I want to run so far I'd beat the morning. Before the dawn has come, I'd block the sun if you want it done. Can we just take a moment for how instrumentally sexy that chorus is? Like, just that bass guitar that you just want to chomp down on and chew up, you know? There is just so much packed into this chorus. Oh my lord. Running against the world that's turning can be in reference to wanting to stay in that dark place with this person, but also on a bigger scale. You know, we see the world crumbling as we speak, and it's wanting to run against that, and you don't want to get to that dawn because that is the end. When I think about dawn, I think of those colours, the reds and the peach and the gold, and at a first glance this could also look like a fire on the horizon. So that dawn could also be representative of, you know, global warming and seeing that disaster coming towards us. Now, I certainly don't think this song references this at all, but just in my head I saw, because Rebecca's one of my favourite books of all time, I saw at the end of the story when Mr. and Mrs. De Winter, who are characters that have really had to accept the dark within each other to stay together, they are driving back and they see the haze of Manderley on fire in the distance. And this song, I can almost see them just turning back and deciding not even to bother with that, just going back into the dark and continuing to indulge in each other. I'd block the sun if you want it done. Kind of reminds me of in No Plan, when he sings, I'll be your man if you've got love to get done. And there's a lot of talk about deeds that he will do for this person throughout Hozier's music. It's like that scene in It's a Wonderful Life where he's talking about lassoing the moon down for her, except instead of giving her light, Hozier is willing to accept the darkness for this woman. And honestly, hot. Let all time slow, let all light go. I don't need to know where we begin and end. I'd still know you not being shown you. I only need the working of my hands. Okay, Andrew, fair play. You knew what you were doing with that, setting a lot of people up for lifelong disappointment. When I think about these two characters, what I see is like two gradients that are merging together. And while these two gradients were whole, when they come together, they become richer and darker. And they do lose that sense of where do they start and where do they begin. Now, what's interesting about this song is that it's at the beginning of the album, and it's talking here about knowing someone. And if you watched my last video, we talked about unknown, and that is about not knowing someone, and that's at the end of the album. So I'm wondering if this album will be a progression through that story. Let me know your thoughts on that theory. In fact, let me know your ideas on the whole thing, whether you agreed with me or whether you think this girl doesn't know what she's talking about. All comments are welcome. I love reading them. I love seeing people interact with each other. It is wonderful. If this is our first time meeting, hello, I'm Honor, and if you would like to join our little gang here on YouTube, we would love to have you, and all you have to do is subscribe. Let me know how you feel about this upcoming album. Do you feel like you're gonna vomit? If so, deep breaths, babe. We're gonna get through this together. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you in a few days.